services. Now, let us get into the next area of how to automate calling the web service from another program. Okay. I want to actually automate this entire testing. For that, I know the web service is already running. I don't want to use a browser to test it, but instead I would like to run many methods one after the other to do this part. So that portion we will try to do it now. Okay. Okay. What we have done is we have created a code. Okay. This portion I am going to show it to you now. I am creating a unit test. I am writing another code. Okay. Before that, I am just showing you this code. Okay. First, this is the web service code. This is the web service that we have created, adding employee, right? And then updating employee, getting all the employee details. This is the web service that we have coded. Okay. I want to call add employee not through browser, through another program, so that I can call multiple unit test. To do that, what I did is I created another project. In that, I created a unit test code. Okay. Okay. Now, but how does it know that this particular code should call that particular web service? Right? I know the web service location, but this code doesn't know. For that, there is something called in Visual Studio to have a reference. Okay. So you have to add a reference. So what we did is we added a reference to the web service that we have added. Now all I did is a simple code. Unit test the web service. I am saying service soap client. This is a standard thing. All I am saying is the moment you are giving the soap client, service soap client, with the reference manager, right? I have created this object. Once the object is done and it is referencing, right? For example, let me try to do this one. Okay. I'm just going to cut and paste this, put a dot. The moment I put a dot, look at this, add employee details, get all employee details, update employee details. Do you see those methods coming up automatically? Because I added a reference to that particular web service. Hold on a second. Let me have some water. I've been talking for quite almost like last 1.5 hours. Give me a second. I'm back. The moment I create a soap client object, the moment I put that and then dot based on your references, right? And you saying web service performance testing dot service reference emp mgmt. That's my web service, right? And it is able to take those employee details right here. Now, all we did is this. Then what I did is, rather than passing these values through UI, I hard-coded these values, employee 1, RAM 100. So it will just call this method with this data, right? If there is any problem, it will write to this log, right? Can I run it now? Is it clear to you all? Now, this is a unit test. What I did is, I have created another thing, or just a dummy class, a main class with call that unit test, right? And then run that, right? So I will actually run this portion, right? So when I run this portion, this will in turn call the unit test, that will in turn call the web service with these data, right? Someone has asked, can you draw me in a paint? Okay, I'll say I'll do that. I'll show you a diagrammatic representation of what we are trying to achieve over here. Okay, this is my web service. Okay, this is my web service. This is my unit test code. Okay, this is my caller. Okay, what happens is I'm just making a call from the caller to the unit test code. This in turn calls this W's, right? Previously what I did is, I was not having a unit test code, I was using a browser. Here from the caller I'm calling the unit test code, that unit test code in turn calls WS web service. A simple way. Coming back, this is the caller, program.cs is the caller, unit test.cs is the program that actually calls that web service. From here I am running, okay, let me run this right from here. Okay, when I run it, you could see something coming up and then finished, because it went through very fast. It went through very fast, but how do I know it really ran or not? Again, as usual, you go back to the database, refresh. Now I see a record is inserted. So passing employee 1 RAM 100, that record automatically inserted. So I want to add more tests like this. So what do? I simply come over here, I go to the unit test code. What can I do? This is test 1, right? There are multiple ways. Okay, this is one test. For example, unit test web services _ 001. Okay, now what I can do is I can cut and paste this portion, right? I can cut and paste this portion. Okay, if I can have multiple such methods, now I'm making it, this is 3, unit test 3, this is unit test 2. Initially I'm testing employee code with 1 character. Okay, my first test, employee code 1 character, this 1 character, this 1 digit. Now the second thing I'm doing, employee code as 4 characters, employee name as Ramanujam, then this as 2 digits. The third, okay, see, okay, now I'm going to say this 2, then I'm going to try with a 4-digit salary. Right? Basically I'm testing different values for my salary. All I did is copy paste this one, right? Then I come back, I used to call only this, right? Now I'll call this 3 times, right? First unit test case, second unit test case, third unit test case. So you can have permutation combination of all your data right here. Then I need to build the solution, right? Interesting. Okay. So I'll go to the database. Before that, I'll delete this guy. Okay, otherwise you'll get a duplicate error right there. Now I deleted that. Now I am coming back to this one. I need to recompile. Let me try to run it once again. It will rebuild all, I hope. It ran 3 tests. Okay, let me see if there is any output. Okay, there are some output. Now I go to this MySQL. I press F8. Test 1, 1-digit salary. Test 2, 2-digit salary. Test 3, 4-digit salary. Test 1, 1 character employee code, 1 character employee name. Test 2, multiple character employee code, multiple character employee name. I am able to finish 3 different tests. Now, hereafter, it is up to you to give multiple parameter combinations. That's all. If you are able to do this, you are good to go. So I go back to this and then I go to this unit testing. All I need to do is the permutation combination of this data. People who have attended the white box testing will also understand this concept very well. Rather than passing through the UI, I can automate. Why should I automate? Through the UI, every time you have to type. It takes time. Whereas once you created this class, cut and paste, put the data, you can run it, it will finish within a minute. So even 100 tests, 100 different unit tests of so many web services calls, it can be automated and then run within a few minutes. So you get time saving. Is this clear to you all? Can you please raise the hands? Okay, good. Just to recapture what we have seen so far, we talked about web services basics. We talked about load testing, manual testing web services. We talked about load testing web services. We talked about automating web service testing through code. Okay. Now, I'll come back to the questions. Someone is asking, can we use more data? Yes. You don't have to hard code the data in the unit test script. You can always use another file to read the data, pass it on to the unit test. Absolutely welcome. Again, I showed positive scenario load testing, okay? Unit testing. For the salary, you can give -1, right? What happens? It's up to you. You can code that portion. Once you know how to call, after that it's a permutation combination of data. And some people have reported that they cannot speak in the webinar. Yes, we purposefully muted all the people because hundreds of people attend this webinar. So we cannot allow all the people to talk. So it is muted except for the presenter. So if you want to reduce the code in unit testing, put it in a sheet and then read it in a loop, yes, it's up to you. It's only coding. What I showed you is a concept. Extending this concept, improving it is always there. Should testers write the code for unit testing? Yep. If you want to automate, better. Okay. Then how do we know what all the web services running for an application? You cannot get from the application, but if you go to the web server, IIS or Tomcat, from there you can find out what all the ASMX files or web services running. From the application UI, you cannot find it out. Okay. Are you going to upload this in OpenMentor website? Yes, absolutely. This web PowerPoint presentation will also come over there. And people asked, what is the next webinar? Please keep seeing openmentor.net site. Every Friday, we will be uploading new webinar links also. Okay. And also you will be getting emails from us. Okay. Some people have said they have some difficulties in accessing the recorded webinars in OpenMentor site. Okay. I'll show you how you need to do that. Okay. Typically you may not have issues. Okay. Again, if you have issues, it may be only one of this. Definitely you should have a broadband or more for that. So go to the openmentor.net portal. From there, click on recorded webinar trainings. Okay. I'll come to that. Give me a second. I think too many people are accessing, or maybe my network connection here slow because I'm running webinars and other stuff, so maybe slow. Okay, now it has come. So I click this recorded trainings. If you go to the recorded trainings, okay, it will display you this content. Sometimes you may be seeing things like this. For example, one person has said there's a problem in silk test training. Okay, I'm going to the silk test. I'm going to the test automation silk test. I click this. It will show you what are the available links. Now I click the first link. When I click the first link, it will open up a new window. You may see a blank screen. Okay, you may see a blank screen, but scroll down. Okay, scroll down. Scroll down. Once you scroll down over here, you will be in a position to, again, the sound comes from the webinar. Actually, there is another voice of mine coming there. Okay, so you can come down there. You can see the play button and other stuff. Okay, so better to click on that to control your flow. For example, I go here for the second webinar list. It opens up this link. Okay, you may see a blank page, but wait. And again, you need to have proper plugins for the WMV audio video. Okay, once it comes down at the bottom, you will see one. It will start buffering for a minute or so. So you need to wait till that time. So you cannot expect an instantaneous play of the webinar. So you need to wait, and you have to see whether the buffering happens. For that, go to the bottom of the window and then see whether the buffering happens or not. One other reason could be your low bandwidth. Other than that, we don't see any issues there. Okay. So if you face issues, scroll down to the window, see whether it is buffering, wait for the buffering to have at least 20% or so, then click the play button. Right? Someone is asking, can I have a web service inside a web service? As I said, a web service is an independent one, right? It's a method. So you can call another method which belongs to the same web service or to a different web service. It's up to you. It's only a method call. Someone has given a suggestion saying that we cannot concentrate in that 1 hour, we need some break, please consider this one. Thanks. Yes, we do understand, but only thing is we try to do 1 hour session on Thursdays and Fridays. We could see drops in Friday sessions because people go early or because of traffic or other issues. Better have it on one day because they can plan accordingly. So Thursdays you can expect a 2-hour sessions. We will try to reduce it to 1.5 hours, but 1 hour is not sufficient to have some good amount of information. Because if you look at today, we covered, we are covering web service concepts, unit testing through UI, load testing of web service through Neoload, automating the web service through C# code. So we are able to cover a considerable portion. If you learn bits and pieces, it may not be helpful at a senior level. When I say senior, you are already working, right? Good. How do we learn coding of web service? We can conduct a different webinar for that. Okay. Someone is asking, can we see the results from the unit test code? Yes. We have used this logger function in the code. So you can use the logger function to log the test case ID, what is the input XML code, what is the output XML code, so that you can have a complete track of what is going on in the web service testing. Where does the vendor put the web service? Obviously in the web server, right? You have to deploy it on a web server. Should someone to pay for using vendor's web service? Yes. If it's a paid web service, yes. Definitely Google Mail and other stuff will be using web services. So the free email service also may be using internally some web services, right? Maybe showing an advertisement banner, maybe a web service. If you don't pay, I don't pay. But when you are using for a bank payment, yeah, you are paying for that. Good. Again, I repeat, if you go to our webinar page in SoftSmith, you can see a paid webinar on LoadRunner spanning 3 Saturdays, starting from this coming Saturday. And if you want to have QA monitor for your organization, please send us a mail to sales@softsmith.com with your company ID. We'll be able to create, or you can directly register for a demo project. Then if you want to know what is the next program, every Friday visit Open Mentor website. We'll be uploading information of this. I think most of the other questions are repeating the same thing. Okay. Do you charge for QA monitor? There is a free version available. You can visit our free QAmonitor.com website. Okay. Up to 25 concurrent users from your company, we don't charge anything. It doesn't mean just 25 users, 25 concurrent users. Okay. You may have 50 people working, but still only 25 may be concurrent. It can still be accessed. More than that, we have a nominal fee. And if you want to get installed in your server itself, there's a nominal fee. And you can look at phenomenal features from this site. Okay, I'm not getting any different questions other than what we have answered before. So I presume people had a good time. So I would like to stop this session at this point. Did you enjoy this session so far? Can you please raise the hands if so? Cool. Great. Probably I will stop the session now. This session is also recorded. So if I'm able to review this and then upload it, you can expect over the weekend or so. Thank you. Let us wish good luck for all the people who attend this webinar. As a representative and principal mentor from Open Mentor, We thank you all for attending this webinar. Thank you.